webinar is to make it very much sort of hands-on and practical. I've gone through trainings before where people are trying to train how to use like make videos and recording and stuff like that. And sometimes it's very theoretical. And I don't think that's what you guys need or anybody needs, actually. If you have no experience with editing video and whatever, I think by far the best way to do it is simply to just show how to do it. So the way that we're going to be doing it today is that I'll be speaking here. Instead of using my web camera, I'm going to be in this shared screen space. You can always see my face as I'm training and sharing with you what's up and what's going on. And then later on, I will also be sharing with you my phone. So this is basically my phone here. I can control the phone and I'll be showing you guys what I'm doing. We are going to talk about today how to shoot a compelling 2-minute video using only your phone, right? I'm going to go through a lot of like sort of the basic things, how to prepare for a shoot like this to make it look really, really nice. Then we're going to just do it. We're going to use the phone, my phone in this case, to do something like this. I'm using a Xiaomi Android phone, which I think most people will have access to something similar device like this. But you will also be able to do very similar things with an iPhone. So this should be totally fine. And I will be first talking a little bit about how we prepare, and then we'll just go into it and we'll just do it together. Like I said, I think Anna has already removed the muting requirement. So if you want, you can just unmute yourself and ask me questions. We're literally like, how many? We're like 8 or whatever. So just ask me. And this is going to be a little bit less formal than one of these meetings sometimes are. And so why not just like do this a little bit together? Let me just start by going to the slideshow a little bit. So Anna, could you confirm everything looks okay? The slide is visible and
Yes, yes,
and so on?
Halder, the slide is okay, and I also confirm that everybody is allowed to unmute him or herself and also start the camera. So if you want to interrupt, you can do it like in the most
Right.
free way.
Fantastic. So the name of today's webinar is Lights, Camera, Science. So I really like that one. I wish I was this creative when it comes to creating names for webinars, but we basically went to ChatGPT and asked them, what would you call a webinar like this that would be fun and interesting? And he came up with his name, and I thought it was really good. The name comes from, for those of you that are not native English speakers, when you are recording a movie in Hollywood, right? They would say lights, camera, action, right? And in this case, we're doing it for the science communication. So lights, camera, science. But it also sort of speaks to some of the fundamentals that we're going to be looking at here today. We're going to be going through the camera, but we're also going to be talking a little bit about the lights, right? Which is the fundamental for all video recording. So it's not totally out of nowhere. Let me first just really quickly mention that Euraccess is an initiative of GTRDT of the European Commission. We're part of the Euraccess worldwide. We have an office here in Beijing where we try to help Chinese researchers that are working with or going to Europe, as well as European researchers based here in China. For those of you that are interested what we're doing, for example, over the next couple of months, we will be this week organizing meetings in Shanghai for European researchers, one meeting for researchers in the STEM fields, and another one for social scientists. This is like a typical thing we'll be doing, but we're also working on like webinars for Chinese researchers that are interested in, for example, Marie Curie or the science communication and other things like that. We also do like regular networking meetings in Shanghai, Beijing, and Guangzhou. So if you're living in one of those cities, I would love to see you there. Well, Guangzhou, we already did like 3 weeks ago. I know that I saw Rosa there actually, so so I don't know if I saw anybody else here then, but if you're in Beijing, for example, or Shanghai, we'll definitely be doing some of that very soon, and I hope to see you there. Well, that's enough for the Euraccess thing. I think for such a small group, it should all be clear, and you should be aware of this anyway. So let's just get past that. We just created a new VChat group. So both of our old science communication training groups became full, right? We have 200 people there in each of them. But what we want to do now is to create like a new group for the core people that are participating in this webinar. In particular, because there's going to be a little bit of a homework right now that is going to come with the things that we're going to be talking about today. And then also we're going to be having the Science Slam in a couple of months. And the people that are going to join this widget group are going to be sort of in the inner circle, so to say, when it comes to the organization of all of that. So if you're interested in continuing with the science communication journey this year, this is excellent opportunity to go in. So it's not going to be 200 people, it's going to be just us, and we can talk about what's going on, and we can also give you feedback as you go through. And I'm really hoping that you guys will consider creating 2-minute video after going through today's webinar. And when you do that, you will basically probably have some questions, and that's why it's really good to join the WeChat. I see that you can probably not see the QR code because my face is in the way, so I'm gonna go to this one here. You should be able to see the QR code a little better. For 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and let me just go to the first slide of today's slideshow. So I just wanted to talk about like a little bit why we think video is such a essential part of the science communication training these days. It is extremely effective medium for communicating science to a broader audience. For example, since we started the Science Slam in 2014, we always ask people to create videos, because there's one thing to talk in front of 100 people. With a video, you could be talking in front of tens of thousands of people. So, I mean, like, just in terms of outreach, it's much better. That people to work with visuals, etc., helps to maybe explain a little bit better what you're trying to say. It helps you to explain complex scientific concepts. It helps to create more engaging content. On top of that, videos also has the potential to create emotional impact in a way that dry lecture cannot. And I will talk a little bit later about that, how you can use, for example, your script and B-roll and other things to sort of create narratives and impact and touch people's feelings in a way that is really hard to do if you're just standing on a stage. I already mentioned that videos are basically more accessible than almost any other medium, but also it allows for a huge sort of creativity that almost no other medium allows you for. You can, when you are trying to present your scientific concepts, videos allow for you to try out all kinds of different things, everything from little cartoons and theatrics and things like this that are really fun to play with. So if you're a creative personality, videos are super fun. Okay. So let's just start with the basics. Planning your shoot. I'm going to be doing a shoot today. I'm going to do a whole video from scratch. It's not going to be a perfect video, but it's probably, by doing it, it's going to help us to understand a little bit what the steps are. But before you can even start the shoot, you have to think a little bit about how you're going to be planning it. And the first thing that you should be considering is where. Location, where to shoot. Finding the right location is basically even more important for somebody like us that are not professionals. Because if you're a professional, you can always create the right environment with just all the equipment and the lights that you have in the studios and all of these things. We don't have that. But you can basically replace the best equipment in the world with the right location. I don't know if you realize, but like really well lit environment is something that costs hundreds of thousands of RMB to create in a studio, but you could also get exactly the same results with like a nice window. It is like and literally you could have the worst camera in the world, but if the light looks really nice and the location looks nice, it could look very professional. So like finding the right spot is really important. There's a couple of things you might take into consideration. Make sure it's quiet. Make the background not very busy. It'll make it simple. Make sure that the sound in that location is not horrible. So for example, right now I am based in my office. It's a lovely little place. Has very high ceilings. Also a lot of echo. And the echo is kind of horrible here, honestly. I don't know how badly it is in your ears, but hopefully this microphone might manage to mitigate that a little bit. But overall, this is not a perfect sound state at all. If you want to go into a little bit of if you want to get a little bit better audio, you might want to go into a little bit smaller room where there's not a lot of like big planes for sound to bounce on, etc. Like there's like different ways that you can like trying to work with that. And you want to maybe be able to put yourself in a position where you are able to separate yourself away from whatever else is going on around you. And that actually brings me to like the framing, which is like a whole art on its own, which I'm going to explain a little bit. But first, we're going to talk about lighting. I'm still over here. Okay, let me just move myself here. Or maybe I can do it here. I'm going to move myself like this. So lighting is really, really important. And there is a lot of different things that you can be thinking about when it comes to lighting. Number one thing is to remember to shoot in the shadows, which basically means that you want to put the camera between the light source and you. So in my case, for example, I'm here, there's a camera in front of me, and main light that is lighting me is behind me. Why do I want to talk about this? It's because this is the most common problem that I'll see people do. You will have people like the person on this screen here, who is basically in front of a window. And I understand why. I've also wanted to do this. I have many occasions. I've made this mistake. Why? Because the window, there's something beautiful in the window, maybe a beautiful garden or a green tree or whatever. But the problem is the window has all the light in the world coming into your room. It's going to be by far the brightest thing in the room is going to be this window. Even if it's not a sunny day, the world is very bright, at least during the day. And it comes into your room, and any other light in the room is not going to be as powerful as this. So what does that mean? It means that you are there in front of it. Nothing that's going to be lighting the front of you is going to be enough. So you're going to just be black. You can fix it sometimes a little bit with really good equipment, right? You could like if you have the light sensitivity, you can like adjust the light sensitivity a little bit. You could like, if you have HDR cameras, it could like actually capture the details in the shadows, and that could be a solution. But you know what's a better solution? Make sure there's light in front of you, right? So if you really wanted to record yourself in front of a window, you would need amazingly strong light that is as strong as the light coming from the window behind you here in front of you. And I would think that most of you do not have this strong light. I can tell you that I don't have strong enough light to be able to do this. So what you do, maybe you should just turn around, right? The window now is in front of you, the camera is in between. Now the window becomes the light source, and you can light yourself this way. Another way is just try to go somewhere where there's not a window. Then you have artificial light, and the artificial light will be a lot easier for you to control, and you can control how it sort of lights you up. You can look at yourself in the camera, and you can try to figure out how it's lighting you up. The problem is with the artificial light, though, is that it can be quite harsh, and you will get shadows and like things that like do not look good. So people have all kinds of tricks around that. Normally, it means that you need more than one light. If you're getting really high shadows here, you might want to grab a lamp and put over here. Also, if the light is very, very harsh, another thing you could do is basically you could take basically your a big white wall or something and bounce the light off that, and it becomes a lot softer. So this is basically what's happening, for example, in this room right now. I want to take my phone now for the first time today and just turn on the camera. Anna, do you see the camera?
Yes, we see the camera through your phone.
Okay, so this is my setup right now. So what you guys are watching here, there's a big window in front of me. It's lighting everything here. I mean, like I have a pretty good camera, so the camera is going to deal really well with this. There are also lights over here and here. This is not a professional equipment, but it does a pretty good job, not the least because I have a big white wall here and here that both bounces the light coming in from there and kind of distributes it okay. I don't see, in this case, for myself, I don't see any super ugly shadows or anything like that. So that is a reason why this is a good way. If I turn myself around like this is going to get a lot more difficult. This is not going to be as easy at all. Maybe one thing you could think about, and I see a lot of those TikTok people today, right? They're buying lighting equipment that's very cheap. You can find it on Taobao. And actually, I have some of that here. So I have several of these. This is like a light that you can find on Taobao, right? And I'm going to try to turn it on here. And it's on. And I don't know. It doesn't like, look at the phone. Like, it adds a lot of yellow light on me. It's not doing a lot, right? I think I can actually take the temperature down here. So the temperature is like how yellow the light is. I'm going to go for more white. And like maybe one of the things that I could do now, I could put it under myself like this. And you can see that it will create like shadows all over myself. It's too harsh. I can bring it a little bit away. And now it's like down here. And I can maybe control a little bit what I want to do. So I'm kind of happy without the light. Right now, I'm really happy with the lightning. Maybe one thing I was like, I have a little bit shadows under here. We Europeans, we have big, deep eyes. They're go deeply in. And it means that you have like shadows under here. Okay, maybe I can take that away with a light that is like under here. A little bit, you know what I mean? Like you can like work around with something like that. Honestly, I'm not that unhappy with my shadow panda eyes, so it's okay. Let me see with the phone. I'm gonna put that back here. Okay, so that was the sort of the lightning thing. Basically, I don't expect any of you to have any big equipment for your lightning or anything like that, but you can maybe try to think about putting your camera between the main light source. I would recommend a window. It's just really lovely way to light yourself, and maybe two big white walls right next to you. Makes really for a really good lighting in this position that I am right now. Okay, let me go to the next slide. How to frame yourself. First of all, you can be considering a little bit about what kind of camera shot you want. There are different shot types that you have, everything from full shot, where you show your whole body. And I've seen people do this for the Science Slam before. They maybe stand in front of a whiteboard or something like that. There could be a medium shot that like cuts down on your thighs. You can have like a medium close-up, which is probably kind of what I'm doing right now. If we go to my shot, this is like a medium close-up that I'm doing. There is also the close-up, and the close-up is basically this shot here, right? This way. And then there's the extreme close-up. And I don't know, extreme close-up is not really something that I recommend you doing a lot, but maybe for a really nice artist, you might want to do extreme close-up for dramatic effect, like showing the eyes of somebody or a little sweaty drop going down because he's being nervous or something like that. You could do like something like that. But honestly, I would recommend for your 2-minute video to maybe consider the medium shot or maybe the medium close-up. You know, that's like a good place to start when you're doing what I'm doing right now, which is called the talking head. It's a person with a hat and a face in front of a camera and he's talking. It's like in the news, it's like in a presentation. It's talking head is when you are trying to explain something, and you know, and that's basically what I'm going to be doing today in our video. What about when you're putting yourself on the camera? I'm going to talk a little bit about something called the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is a thing that you can do if you imagine that you have on your picture like 2 lines horizontally and 2 lines vertically that split the screen into like 9 squares that are equally big. There are different ways also to do this, but a rule of thirds is a very easy way to think about it. And if you want to look at it, you can see here on the phone that I always have like these lines there. In my case, I can just go here in the hamburger menu and I can click the grid lines to put it on and off. I'm sure almost all of your phones will have the rule of third, like these grid lines for you to take a look at. So why is this? It's just to make like for a little bit of more interesting framing. So when you are putting yourself inside of a shot, you might want to consider a little bit like, where do you look the best? In my case, for example, I'm a little bit like, if you imagine there's a line here that is going here, I'm basically putting my eyes in the center of my eyes in the top left quadrant. That's what's basically is going on. In the picture that we're looking at, you can see that the artist is basically splitting up this landscape and he's cropping the picture in a way where the main subject is standing right there in the center of one of those lines, and it attracts your. Sorry, I didn't mean to go back here. It attracts your attention. It allows you to basically create like sort of a dynamic thing that is really kind of beautiful to look at, I guess is the best way to say. It also kind of creates a frame and creates like a more balanced picture. Let's say that, for example, just to demonstrate, if I would be like, I don't know, like here, this is just weird. I don't know, like you need to think a little bit about like where you are and how you fit with the rest of the whole shot. Let's take a look at some examples. This is from a James Bond movie that I really liked. I was looking at this online earlier. You can see how he basically puts both the actor and the drink that he's looking at like right in the focus points. You could also take a look at a typical talking head, which is what we're going to be doing today. In this case, he's basically, instead of putting the person right in the middle, he's putting them a little bit to the side, putting the eye so it's over one of the cross points. This is a very common technique. It could be on the either side, but you want to put them a little bit to the side and create a little bit like of a balanced look like this. Here's another example of somebody doing this. But of course, you could also put yourself in the middle if you like. When you're doing that, you could still think about it a little bit like in the rule of thirds. You're still creating like this frame around you. What is happening in all of these shots, though, is that you are basically trying to create like awareness of the space that is around you. There's a thing called the headroom, which is like the space between your head and the top of the frame. There's also the negative space around you. If you are to the side, and I'm looking like this is called the nose room, like the room in front of your face that is like a little bit like the space in front of you. You can decide how much of that you want. If you are right in the middle, you have no nose room. There's no nose room going on, right? Because that's just like in between you and them. So there's like a lot of other things you can be thinking about when you're creating that. Just think a little bit about the negative space around you. Make sure that you have the headroom correct, etc. Okay. This is the final thing I want to talk about before we basically get to the creating the video that we want to do today. So matching colors and how to think about it. I just want to talk about like a couple of things. I would start by thinking about colors in two different categories. One is like neutral colors, that is like white and black and grays and things that you can basically use as a background. And you can see that in my shot, I made it really deliberately very neutral colors in the background. It's not the same color, it's not white, but it's like dark gray and light gray and black, etc. These are all neutral colors. On top of it, in my shot, you have basically two other colors. If you're looking at my face right now, you have blue and you have kind of a yellow, a human skin color, which is like my color, pink, red, white kind of thing. So these colors, you could call them the accent colors maybe. The accent colors are the colors that are normally less soft than the neutral colors, the main colors behind. It's like a little bit of, you add a little bit of dash of color on top of something, and it sort of accents. And you don't want to, for example, if you love blue, I would never make everything blue in a blue background. I wouldn't do like that. You should do rather what I'm doing right now is I have a blue shirt on, I have blue eyes, I have everything else is neutral. It will highlight the colors that you want to actually show. Then you might want to think about yourself, tell yourself, how do you match colors? You could do it by using your gut, like your feeling and what you like. If you don't trust your feeling in this sense, you could look at something called like a color wheel. There's a tool from Adobe called color.adobe.com where you can see all the different complementary colors. You can pick a color. In this case, I picked a blue one, you can see on the picture, and it will come up with the complementary color. What is the complementary color for blue? It's actually yellow. So you can see almost everything that's going on the screen right now is actually very deliberate. There's blues and yellows going on a lot. This is not the only type of complementary colors that exist, but it's a very common couple of colors to put together. I don't know if you ever noticed it, but almost every movie that comes out of Hollywood has a poster that is blue and yellow. It's blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow everywhere. And the reason for why every poster is blue, yellow is because humans have kind of a yellow hue to their skin. So it fits really well with blue. And when you're lighting something with blue and yellow, it kind of looks kind of nice if you're working with people. So that's why I'm doing blue and yellow right now, but that's also why Hollywood does blue and yellow. Let's do a couple of another thing. Like, let's take a look at another way to think about our colors. So first of all, I was 3D printing this little star the other day. It's like a little logo that I have. It's yellow one. I don't know. I'm going to put this here. Don't you think that this kind of looks good together? It's like, there's nothing screaming here. It like kind of looks nice together. I'm just saying like this is because these colors are really, really kind of well balanced. The only problem with it is that the blues that I'm wearing and the yellow that I have here are not the same hue. They're not the same shade of yellow. So that's kind of the most crashing thing. Let me look around. Here we have the book Confucius, in Icelandic Analytics of Confucius. This one is a little bit darker yellow. It probably fits a little bit better with my darker blues. Just something to think about. Anyway, another thing that when you're recording a video, there's something called LUAT, which is a lookup table for colors. And I'm always using that. I don't know if you see it. Anna, maybe you can let me know. I have a lookup table right now on the footage that we're looking at. I'm going to turn it off. Is it off now?
Yes, we can see the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. So the lookup table is like a thing that looks at all the color in the digital signal and changes the balance between them and so on. Because the signal that's coming through the camera is not necessarily what you see with your eyes or how your brain look at it. It just sees everything, right? Sometimes the better camera, the more information it takes, everything becomes more gray and bland. So you put something called lookup table on top of it to kind of emphasize the things that you want to show. So in this case, I made myself a little bit more pink, I guess, more red. And but also it becomes a lot more normal. I don't look as sick as I look right now. But I also believe that this is more how I look like in reality. I don't expect anybody here today to be thinking about lookup tables. That's way too complicated. But you know what exists on phones that is similar to lookup tables? Filters. Filters are basically a type of a lookup table. And you should maybe think a little bit about how you can work your filters in when it comes to the color. If the color is not working out correctly, like I don't think filters is always about making your face look like a cat, or filters do not need to be, I want to make everything look like it was taken in the 100 years ago or something like that. Filter can also be something you can use as a tool to control the colors. And I will show that in a second. Let's go back to the slideshow. Okay, all right. Let's start. Basically, I'm going to start by creating a little video with my phone. Let's go to my phone. Let's go to the camera. So the first thing that I want to think about is, where do you want to put your phone? And I'm going to change right now. I am going to go here. I'm going to change my microphone to this one here. Do you still hear me, Anna?
Yes, we hear you well.
Okay, I just changed my microphone because I'm going to be walking around a little bit. So basically, I'm going to be thinking about where I want to put my phone. This is the place that I'm going to be sitting. I expect that you guys are not going to have a nice camera like this, so you need to use your phone. So where are you going to put your phone? Well, the best thing to have is something like this. This is a tripod, right? The tripod allows you to put it anywhere and like put it up however you want. Honestly, a tripod is very expensive. I mean, like I was so surprised when I bought my first tripod because it's extremely expensive. It could, like a good one can cost like thousands of coin. Instead, you could also consider you can go to Miniso and you can buy one of those. What is this called? Uh, Selfie stick, right? But you know what? This is also a tripod. It is, and it's cost like 99 kwai. And it's actually amazing. It has like a little Bluetooth thing. You can connect to your phone and you can take pictures with it, etc. I don't know. It's amazing to me that this can cost 99 kwai because in professional camera equipment, similar things will cost thousands and thousands and thousands. But today, I don't plan to use any equipment. So I'm basically going to show you always like 3 different ways to do it. The way that a photographer would do it, like with real equipment, a cheap way to do it, and then the free way to do it. And the free way to do it in my case is that I just looked at something in my office. I have like this kind of a rack that I keep my jacket on. And I thought, oh, this is perfect place. I can go here and I can put my camera right somewhere here. And this will give me the right angle so you guys can take a look at what I'm doing. Why am I putting it so far away? You might ask. I'm going to be sitting here. One thing you could also consider, I'm going to switch my phone to this one here. You could just basically put your camera right here or here, right? And you can see that it's about like 1 meter away from my face. This is going to be fine, I guess. Another way to think about it is also to take advantage of the fact that almost all modern smartphones today have different type of cameras on it that can have different kind of focal lengths. So if you have a zoom camera on your phone, I would recommend to consider to take away your camera, go far away, like I was doing earlier, and then zoom in until you have the same frame that you had before and see how it looks different. What will actually happen then is that the depth of field will be a lot more professional looking, in my opinion. Let's just try it. I'm putting the camera here, and I'm zooming in. We have on my phone a 5x natural zoom. I could also go down here to 3, for example. I wouldn't recommend that because the 3x zoom is not actually the lens that is doing that. That's basically just digital zoom using the normal 1x lens. But it has an optical lens that is 5, which is like a natural real lens. We'll actually create the real depth of field that you would like. So I'm going to run now. Oh, I'm upside down. Well, it gets the drift anyway. Here I am. You can see that I'm like the phone is far away. It's using the 5x to look at me here, right over here. It will create like this space that is very difficult to do if you have the phone right in front of you. That's basically the trick that I'm using in this case. So I'm not going to record anything right now, but I did record a talking head video yesterday. Let's take a look. Wait 1 second. I'm going to get my phone. My phone over here. And we'll go back to the slideshow. So this is the first clip that I recorded yesterday from exactly the point where I was showing you guys. I'll go here. So this is me trying to record this yesterday. So, hello, this is me. Yesterday, Okay, so I'm starting recording here. Okay, so like this is a very typical thing. I was not really sure what was going to happen. There's a couple of things that is wrong immediately. I don't see my phone because it's far away, so I need to try to a couple of times to frame myself. You can look here on the front. There's in the foreground, you can still see the camera. This is kind of probably not very nice in this case, but sometimes you can play around with the foreground a little bit. You could, for example, if you have a green plant or something like that in the foreground, it'll look very beautiful sometimes. So like you can play around with the foreground, but it does mean that you need to be far away and zooming in to be able to do that. I don't have my hat in the right place. There's no headroom. This is not looking super good. My face is totally on one side of the frame, so this is badly framed. So I try again. This is another recording I did also yesterday. I was like really trying hard to make the headroom correct in this one. And let's just skip ahead here a little bit. The spring is finally here. Well, in this case, you're missing the bottom part of my head. So not perfect either. I'm sorry. Finally, I came with something that I was relatively happy with. This is the one that I did. What I wanted to just show you guys is that you're not a professional photographer or videographer. You're probably not going to be working with anybody else on this. You might need to try it a couple of times, and it might not be perfect, but you can find out and slowly get to the place that you want to be at. Okay, so this is the recording that I'm going to be using. It's not going to be perfect, but we can take a look at it right now. So good news, the spring is finally here in Beijing, and yesterday, this lazy Sunday afternoon, I decided to go with my girlfriend down to the Liangmahhe Canal to enjoy the weather. So we took my scooter where we rode together through the Beijing traffic down to the delightful sort of city gardenscape of the Liangmahhe River. But on my girlfriend's back was a backpack where we also secretly took with us our little pet cat, Siley, who also needs occasionally the opportunity to get out and enjoy the good weather, just like us humans. We walked him around, he got to smell different things and experience the outside at this wonderful, beautiful afternoon. Okay, all right. That's it. That's the video recording that I'm going to use. It's still problematic. The colors are not nice. I'm missing the headroom on top of my head. I thought it was really relatively okay framed though. I thought I was at the right place. I thought it was pretty much okay. Honestly, my hairdo is too high. My hair is too crazy. That's my problem, right? Sorry. But I'm gonna use this video for today at least, and we can like use that to build like a talking head video, which is the thing that we're gonna be using. I'm gonna switch my microphone again to the better one. That's this one. Do you still hear me, Anna?
Yeah, very well.
Okay, so I'm gonna go now to the phone, and we're gonna go to VN. So this is a free app that anybody should be able to download called VN, which is a video editor that both Anna and I can actually very highly recommend. We've been using this on computer, desktops, and on now on the phone, etc. It can do a lot of really, really cool things. And it's for free. And it's actually, I also use Adobe Rush on my phone, and I also edit on my computer all the time. But on the phone, I've been trying Adobe Rush, which is okay. It's nice. It has like multi-layers, like channels and stuff like that. Then I found out VN also have all of that, and it's for free. And it also has several things that I think it does actually better than Adobe. So let's take advantage of this tool that is here for free. Let's create a new one. I'm going to click the plus in down there. And then I'm going to click new project. And you will start with clicking the main footage that you're going to be using. I'm not going to click all the footage. I'm going to use only the main footage. And the main footage that I'm going to be use is the one, not 52. It's the one that is 1 minute 11 here. This is the last attempt that I had. And I don't know how well you guys can see this, but over here, you can scroll through. And this is like the video. So the first thing I'm going to do is that you might have noticed that the first, like, I don't know, 12 seconds or so, or 15 seconds is just me sitting down. That this is because I'm doing this alone, right? So we need to edit it out, the first part. I don't know if you noticed, but when I started my video, I did like this. Okay, let's start. You know, like I did it like with a clap, and I hope it looked really natural. But what I was actually doing was to mark a moment where I could actually find where I was actually starting. And on here, you can see that basically there's like an audio down there that is so small on your screen. I'm not sure if you see it so well, but basically audio is always the same because my voice doesn't change a lot, except for this one part here. There's like a one stick that go up. This is my clap. This gives me a really good place to know exactly where I want to go. So here I go, and I click split. There's a little scissor, and now we have two. I go to the first one and I delete it, and now we basically have taken away the first part. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take away this end credit here. And there's a similar thing at the back where basically we don't have a lot. I'm going to take away all this end thing away. I'm going to split it with a scissor, and I'm going to delete the last part. And then I'm going to do a little trick that I do almost always when I'm ending something. I'm going to do a fade out to black. And this is a type of a transition. You click the plus, you can see the plus at the end. And this is like the transition. You might have another video clip and it transitions between it. But in this case, we have black. And I'm going to have the black. It's here for 0.8 seconds. I'm going to actually have it a little bit further. I'm going to have it like almost 3.3 seconds, let's say. So at the end, it like fades to black. The problem with the video that I made is that I ended it and then I just ran away. And I just thinking like when I started editing, it's like, I wish I just like ended it and then just stayed for maybe 2 seconds without running away. So like this was like a trouble with my planning and something you guys might want to think about. But this is something that you'll find out when you start editing, right? Okay, I'm going to do something else now. I'm at the beginning of the clip again, and I'm going to add to it a text. This is something like really classical you might want to do. So you can see there's T and a plus. Tap to add. I click that and I click text. And I'm going to use, they have a lot of different types of text that you can add. I'm just going to use one that's called line. And you can see here that on the screen now, this says input title. I can click it and I can put it wherever I want. I'm going to put it here in the top corner, but still give it a little bit space around it. And then I can click it. I just click it with my finger, and I change what it says. I'm going to say spring day and another line in Beijing, because that's what I was talking about in the video earlier, right? Cool. How long do I want it to be? If I use my both fingers, I can zoom out on the timeline, and then I can go like closer in to see it better. I want to make it 3 seconds right now. I'm going to take it. I'm going to click the most right part here. And I'm going to make it a little bit longer. Let's say 4 seconds, something around that. And if you click on it here, you can see that they have like a lot of options. One of the things that I want to add here is a little bit of a virtual VFX, like a video effect. It's called motion. I click the motion, and there's an animation for when it starts. That's called the in animation. There's an animation for the out. That's like at the end. There's also another one called loop that like happens again and again. I'm going to do an out animation, and I want to make it slide, and you can see it slides down, right? I don't want that. There's 4 options here. I click it again. Now it slides to the right. I don't want that. It slides up. I don't want that. it slides to the left. That's good. So right now, if you look at the video, at some point it like slides off and goes away. Kind of nice. I like it. Looks really nice. Okay, now I'm gonna teach you about B-roll. So the A roll, the roll is like a roll of film, right? Like the A clip, the number one video I'm using is me talking, the talking head. B-roll is like another footage that you sometimes put on top of the other one to just to illustrate something, to show something, to create some kind of feeling. So I had already thought about that around 12 seconds. Let me see. I'm going to go about 12 seconds in. Around 12 seconds, I was talking about, oh, I went to the Liamahe Canal. And Liamahe Canal, I have a footage of it. So when I was actually on Sunday, I went out and with my girlfriend and my cat, and I took a lot of pictures, so I could use it today. And when I was there, I decided to take a lot of different kind of pictures, so I could use it in different kind of B-roll. So when you're out there, you might want to think about, oh, what kind of video do I want to talk about? What will I talk about? Because then you're going to be looking around at some interesting things. You'll be recording a lot of stuff that is not you, just like something else that you can use as a B-roll. In this case, I'm going to add my own. Above the main video clip, there's like a photo and it says plus. I'm going to click that. You can see, it's hard because you don't see my finger, but it's basically where there's like a video clip and there's like a photo and text and music, right? There's like 4 of them. I go to the photo, I click that one, and I click video. And I'm going to go to the Liamahe Canal. There's the 4-second clip here that I actually like quite a bit. I added it. I add it to there. I put it here. It's too small, but it doesn't matter because we're going to make it all smaller in the end. I'm going to click it out, make it bigger so it fits. And this is the first B-roll. So I'm here, I'm talking about the Liamahe Canal. And then it will be a picture of the Liamahe Canal while I'm doing it. And you know, my voice is still there in the background talking. Like the video, like it doesn't affect everything else that's going on. It's very common to have different B-rolls right after each other. So right after this one, I'm going to add another one. I click again on the plus image. I click the video. Around that time, I was talking about that I drove on my scooter with my girlfriend. And here's a picture of me on the scooter. So this picture here is actually a landscape picture. No, sorry, a portrait, like a phone size ratio on the picture. It's fine. I can crop it. Just do it a couple of times. It's not going to be high resolution, but it's going to look fine. I promise. And here we have that. I can roll it around. I can do like this. I can even put it above here. You can see on the screen. But in this case, I just want to put it right after the other one. But it's very, very long. This is unnecessarily long. So I'm going to make it, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to click here at the end. Let me find the way to do that. And shorten it quite a bit. How long should I make it? Like 7 seconds, maybe something like this. 5 seconds. So right now, if I roll through this, you can see that like there's like a different type of B-roll going on here. And then it goes back to my head. I'm gonna add another B-roll. In this case, there was like a beautiful picture of the canal. I'm gonna add that also. This is not something like this. I'm gonna make this one shorter also. And at the end, I also had like a picture of, I was talking about like walking my cat. Very, very fun thing to do. For this one, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'll find my walking cat video. Which one would that be? Maybe here, this one. And for this one, I'm going to make it just like a window. I'm not going to make it take everything over. I'm just going to make it like on the side. And just goes like over here. And then at the end, it ends. All right. honestly, I can see that he is like there's a problem with my like he's always showing the same clip here, but it's not. It's just an error. It will not happen when you export the file, so don't worry about that. You could try to save it and open it up again or whatever. It's probably like a memory error or something like that. Okay, this is pretty good. Another thing that I think is like a typical thing you would like to do is to add a logo on your thing, like a logo on your video, a picture. So yeah, just do exactly the same. I go to the photo and I click video and photos, but instead of going to the video, I go to the photo part and I have like a logo of Eurexes. I'm going to put it here in the corner and it's like this. And honestly, what I need to do is that I need to put it here. And you can see now that it can be on top of the other things, you know, like right here, it's going to be a top of both this one and this one, you know, so you just need to put it on another layer on the top. I can make it super long. I can like lengthen it like this. But what I can also do here is like I can just do it quickly. Say video end. It goes all the way to the video end, and then video beginning, and it goes all the way to the video beginning. Now there's a logo the whole time over everything. Very, very cool. Anything I'm forgetting? One thing about the colors. Well, we don't have a lookup table for something like this, but they do have filters. So if I click the filters now, there's a lot of different filters. We can make it look whatever. And one thing I would maybe look into, a lot of these filter systems have like something for people. Here's one for person, and they have 1, 2, 3. They have 8 different filters for people. So let's say that I want to do like I'm doing right here. I want to make the reds pop a little bit. I can go to this one, maybe PN2, like the yellows are popping. It's too much though. I don't like it so strong. So I'll just go down here to maybe 20%. And this is maybe the color that I would like for this video clip. Okay, so this is a video clip, and now we are ready to export. In the top right corner, there's a share button. You click that. There's export settings, and you just click OK, and you will export it. It will export to your phone somewhere. You could also probably share it, etc. When you're exporting, I want you to point your attention to one thing. In VN, you can also export to all their types of frames. So it's very typical, for example, this one here I'm doing because it's like a science slam. It's like a normal video. But if you were doing it for TikTok, you might want to go here where it says Douyin, like the signal, 916. If you're doing it for Instagram, you might want to do 1:1, right? So you can change these frame ratios right here in the app when you're doing this, and it will help you to create the same video for a lot of different mediums. But just think about one thing. When you change these frame ratios, it will also screw up everything that you've been doing before. So you might need to adjust things. You might need to move the logo. You might need to do things again and then export again for this new one. So this is a little bit of extra work, but it can be good if you're putting this into a lot of different places. Okay, so we've already finished exporting right now. Let's take a look at how it is. This is the final results. So good news, the spring is finally here in Beijing, and yesterday, this lazy Sunday afternoon, I decided to go with my girlfriend down to the Liangmahekandel to enjoy the weather. So we took my scooter, where we rode together through the Beijing traffic down to the delightful sort of city gardenscape of the Liangmahe River. But on my girlfriend's back was a backpack where we also secretly took with us our little pet cat, Siley, who also needs occasionally the opportunity to get out and enjoy the good weather, just like us humans. We walked him around, he got to smell different things and experience the outside this wonderful, beautiful afternoon. Okay. So that was the final export. What is the biggest problem right now? So I think this is pretty good. It's probably better than 90% of stuff you'll put out, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to be a professional. Almost everybody will feel that this is really not high quality. Why? The number one thing that is wrong with this video is the audio, the sound is really, really bad. And it's really normal because I put my phone far away in a big room like this that has a lot of echo. So let's listen to it again. Let me go back here. So good news, the spring is finally horrible. It's just like, it's like tinny and shallow and echoes, and oh, it's just like really, really bad sound. And that's the whole thing. You like, if you ever watch videos online, you can always tell who is professional and not based on how it sounds like. And all of you watch so many videos already, you will know this immediately, what is good or what's not. So we can do everything to make it look really beautiful, but if the sound is bad, what can you do? Or nothing. It's gonna be look really bad, and people are gonna think it's bad because the sound is bad. So I'm really sorry. This is not enough. You need to have your sound in order. So let's try to think about what options we have here. I have a lot of sound equipment. The first thing you might think about is the thing that I'm using right now, which is a microphone. So there's a microphone and a microphone stand. This microphone is a Shure 58, SM58. It's a very classical microphone. It's a standard one used all over the world. It is pretty good. It is unidirectional. So you are sitting in front of it. It only picks up the voice that is here. As soon as you go take it somewhere else, it's going to be not as good at it at all. So like, it's a unidirectional microphone. When I was first playing around with microphones, maybe 10 years ago or whatever, what was surprising to me is that you don't take a microphone like this and just plug it into your phone. It doesn't work. It's first of all, it's expensive microphone. It's not that expensive, but it's relatively expensive. It costs money. And then you need to have equipment. You need to have an amplifier. You need to have an audio interface to connect it to your computer or connect it to something else. These things are not that easy to set up, honestly. So there's a better option. You could use something that plugs directly to a phone, right? I basically have the audio interface built in. It could be something that uses USB or uses audio in plug or whatever. You can, for example, use this one here that I'm using here. This is the one that I was using earlier. The difference between this one and this one is that this one is plugged directly with a USB to a computer. It doesn't need any extra equipment. It's relatively cheap. I think 200 kwai on Taobao, but it's a surround microphone. This one only picks up what's in front of it. This one here will pick up all the sound everywhere in the room. So that's why I put this one on when I was walking around earlier. Otherwise, you would not have heard what I was saying. So that it's not very expensive here in China. You can get these relatively cheap. That's not my favorite option, though. My favorite option, if I would be doing something like this, would be a shot microphone. So this is a shot microphone. It can plug directly into anything with an aux like this. This is actually built for a camera, but another way to use it is that you can put it on a mount like this. It's probably the wrong way around. No. Need to open it. And then you can like hold it and shoot it at stuff and whatever, especially if you're doing interviews. And when you're doing like that, you can put like a sock over it. This is called a wind sock. The reason for you have that is because if there's a lot of wind, it will basically you will hear that sound. It will kind of like take that away. A lot of the this kind of sounds will also disappear. That's why you see it in the movies. They will use something like that. That would be my favorite option. This is also not very cheap. What is my recommended option? Is something like this here. This is a lavalier microphone. You can plug it in like this. And this one here has an audio interface right here. So you can literally just plug it directly into your phone with something like this. Mine has two. If you're doing an interview, you have one here and one over there. This one costs only 70 kwai on Taobao. And it creates really nice sound. I think this is what I would do if I would like to record a video like I was doing yesterday. If I want to record this video again, I would record it with this. It only costs 70 kwai. Lavalier microphones are small. You clip them on you. But they are not always, they don't need to be cheap. You can also have like really expensive ones. There's wireless ones that exist that I actually really want to buy, but they cost like, I don't know, like they cost a lot of money, much more money. But if you just want something simple and you don't mind to have like a lot of wire and you just want to plug it into your phone, this is really, really, really good option. And this is what I would recommend you to use, using like a lavalier microphone like this. But I said that I would always talk about the free option. And that's the option that I'm using for the video that I'm doing right now. So the free option is to just do it like I did yesterday. Just record it with your phone microphone. Of course, that's the only way to do it for free. But what do I mean? Is that even an option? Let's go back to the phone. I'm going to go to the phone. Oh, I lost the phone. Let me try to connect again. This could take a second. We go here and here and back to the phone. And let's see if we can find it again. Start. There's my phone again. Okay, great. So like a thing that you can do is that in the video here, you can click on it. And you can say, let me see here, extract audio. You can extract the audio. Now the audio that what I'm talking is here on the top. Then you take the audio and you export it as a MP3 file or something like that. Now you have the audio, only the audio, not the video, right? And then you can take this audio and you can fix it. So there's a lot of filters for audio that exist, etc. And they all are horrible if the original quality of the sound is really bad. The original quality of the sound, in this case, is extremely bad. Like you heard, it's like really echoey, very far away, very tinny, etc. One thing that has actually changed, though, in the last 2 years is that instead of using filters for the audio, you can use AI. And that's what I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to go to a website here. It's called podcast.adobe.com/enhance. And it's a free service from Adobe where you can upload any sound audio file. You put it there. It takes maybe up to 10 minutes, normally 1 or 2 minutes, and then it will create a new file that you can download. And it takes this original sound and makes it sound like actually recorded in studio. So this is the option that you can have if you don't have anything else. Honestly, the sound is not that good. It still has a lot of problem. After all, it's like an AI thing, and it's not perfect either, but it is definitely better. Let's go here again. Let's hear how it used to sound like. So good news, the spring is finally here in Beijing, and and now it sounds like this.
So good news, the spring is finally here in Beijing, and yesterday.
Okay. So you can hear that it actually sounds quite a bit better, but it still has like a little robot voice in it that I don't like. So I would rather recommend you use a real microphone like this one and get around that. But if you want to do this for free, you can do it. The Adobe service allows you to publish up to 3 hours, I think, a day, like 3 hours of audio recording a day. That is more than you'll ever need in your whole life. So this really is for free. So that is extremely, extremely good. I'm really interested in that this is a thing even. So let's go back to my phone. We go here. I'm going to go to VN. So I can go here. Now I have the video record, like the sound recording. Oh, it's not. Let me just go back here. And give me 1 second. I seem to have lost the thing again. Here we are. Now we're here. Okay. So like this is back in the VN in the editing software. So you can see on top of there, there's the sound that I have. And now I've created a new file with a better sound, like using the AI that I was just talking about. You can click here. So like, let's say I'm somewhere else. I click it and there's click and replace. And I can basically import from file manager here. And I can find like the file that I want to replace it with. And then the new file will actually do it. So now I have better sound for free without using any equipment. The last thing I want to do about the audio, though, is that I want to add a music on it. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to add music. And I found a music online that I'm going to choose here. You can say here, see that he cuts it down to the length of the video, which is 52. It's the original sound is about 3 minutes, but you cannot work with that. So like we'll just use the 53 seconds, the first part of it, and we just fade it out at the end. I'm going to put 4-second fade out, so it like slowly goes out. Normally that feels very natural to people. I say okay, and now I have both my sound and the song. Let's listen to it. Well, you wouldn't be able to hear it because it's not connected to the video. The phone is not connected to the audio. But one thing that I would recommend that you do is that you go to the song and you go to the volume and you lower the volume to maybe 20%, because otherwise you will not be able to hear yourself. Okay, that's it. And I will go click in the top right again. I will click export and okay, and export this new one with a new sound and with the music that I found. Let's see how that sounds. That's the this version here.
So good news, the spring is finally here in Beijing, and yesterday, this lazy Sunday afternoon, I decided to go with my girlfriend down to the Yamada Canal to enjoy the weather. So we took my scooter, where we rode together through the Beijing traffic down to the delightful the sort of city gardenscape of the Yamada River. But on my girlfriend's back was a backpack where we also secretly took with us our little pet cat, Saidi, who also needs occasionally the opportunity to get out and enjoy the good weather, just like us humans. We walked around and got to smell different things and experience the outside this wonderful, beautiful afternoon.
All right. Okay, so we have a video. So what's the next thing? Well, in this case, I'm not going to do anything more with it. I hope that I introduced really well to you guys how you can use VN. There's like a couple of different concepts that is going on. How you split a video, how you edit it, that is. How you can add another video clip on top of another one, how you can add a photo or a logo on top of it, how you can change the sound, how you can change the color, how you can change the, put some music on it. These are the basic concepts that I want to show, how easy it is to do when you have something like VN, and you can do it all on your phone. So the next step after this would be to tighten it up. So honestly, this is probably the thing that takes 80% of the time. It just depends on how much you want to work on this right now. If I was actually going to be publishing this or putting it out there, I would be like, pretty good. I have a pretty good plan. But now I want to tighten it up. I would probably record it once more. I will probably try to practice it a little bit and I will record it again. You could hear that I was like, Okay, so like we'll try to take all of that away. So we'll try to record it until we get a better version. I will probably also fix it so I'm better framed, like my head was out of it and whatever. I'll try to tighten up like little things like this. Then in the editing phase, the tidying up also means that sometimes there's like spaces or pauses in the middle of the video. You might want to just like separate it and delete these parts, like edit them out. And it might look a little bit different because you might like move really quickly suddenly or whatever. But if you have B-roll over it, those edits will not be very obvious to people at all. Talking about B-roll, when you're tightening up, when you start, you might think about, oh, I wish I had another B-roll. You know, like for example, I was like, oh, I want to talk about, maybe in the middle of the video, I'm talking about a person flying a kite in the middle of the canal, but I have no video of anybody flying a kite. And I'm like, oh, you know, because when I was recording the B-roll, I did not realize I was going to be talking about this. That teaches us what? Number one, when you are out shooting the B-roll, like I was doing on Sunday, you might want to just record a lot of things. So you will never be in a position where you have no video of the things you want to talk about. Secondly, when you're tidying up, you might want to go again and get the B-roll that you want, because now you know exactly what video you want to put there. So you might just want to go once more. Or you could find maybe something online, maybe, for example, from a stock footage, from a free stock footage website. There's one called Paxel.com that's totally for free, and you can add that. So a classical example, let's say that you're going on flying to a conference. A really classical thing is like when you're talking about, and then I like left Beijing, blah, 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 is to put a picture of an airplane flying away. You know, you don't really need to go to Beijing airport and record this. There's many videos of airplanes flying away online, and you can find them for free on stock footage. And this is very normal. Every single video has stock footage in it. So instead of always have to record everything yourself, you can also find it. Just make sure that you're allowed to use it. So you can go to something that's like for free, or you can pay for it or whatever. But you just need to make sure it's something you're allowed to use. There are also things that you might want to do now in the final phase of the whole thing. You maybe want to export for different formats, like I said earlier. Maybe you want to add subtitles. Here in China, every video has a subtitle in Chinese. It's also good in social media, because a lot of people will not turn on their sound for a video when they're just scrolling through something, unless they think it's interesting. So they don't know what's about unless there's some subtitles. Adding subtitles can be really smart. In the VN software, you can see that they have like add subtitles feature. You can do it there on your phone, etc. And you could just keep on working on it. It takes like as soon as you start, you get inspired, you know what you want, you can try it again, and you can get like better and make like nicer video. This is it for the training session today. Maybe we start with the Q&A. I don't know, Anna, do we have any questions so far?
No, I don't think we received any questions, but I think we can just invite participants to unmute themselves and ask directly if they like. I think there are like a couple of people that were like thanking you. I think the presentation was quite interesting, and really this VN video editor is really user friendly. So even if you never edited any videos, a very good place to start. I basically started myself editing videos on VN, both on the phone and on the computer. It's like very convenient.
I'm gonna put here also Adobe Podcast Enhance for the AI that I use to fix the sound. I don't know if there's anything else that people might be interested in. No, sorry, I sent it. Let me see here. Everyone in meeting. It's called Adobe Podcast Enhance. And yeah, I don't know. Anybody wants to ask anything at this stage? If not, we can then go to the final thing. This is basically the final part before the Science Lab, like the final training session that we're putting up. And like I said earlier, I recommend that you guys go to our VChat group, because if you have been following this training for the last 4 training sessions, you're probably also trying to get the certificate for the science communication training. And coming to this event today automatically grants you this silver certificate, but we also have a gold certificate for the people that come to all the activities. But there's also a diamond certificate in there. And this diamond certification is basically for those of you that already did our first homework in session 2, where you send us your script. And thank you so much for all of you that did that. We've been taking a look at it. It's really, really nice, and we'll give you feedback soon. And then today is the final homework thing, where you will use the tips and tricks that we've been talking about today to record a video yourself. So what I want you to do is to do a 2-minute video based on the script that you already made using the Science Slam Brainstormer, the AI one, or whatever script that came out of it. Because obviously, if you have a script that you made inspired by that, you can of course use your own script. We don't ask you to do a very difficult video. You don't need to add a lot of B-rolls and stuff like that on it. That's not a requirement. But you might want to record yourself, try to frame yourself correctly, try to get a good audio, and do the script. And maybe if you have time and you are interested in using the tricks that we've been talking about, you can maybe try to basically put up, you can basically try to maybe to illustrate the scientific projects that you're working on, you can try to find some pictures and put that into the video, or some, if you have some video clips, you can use that as a B-roll, whatever. The more, the better. Everybody that does that will get the Diamond certificate, as well as become certified Science Slam contesters. The Science Slam is this big event that we are planning this spring. We've been doing it since 2014. We're going to be having with us at least 20 people that will be eligible for the finals, and we'll go through our last part of the Science Slam training, which is basically one-on-one with like all of you, like a small group session where we'll just like work with you through your own Science Slam. This is only going to be for like those that are going to the last, is already eligible for that. Then we are going to invite 5 best ones to come to Beijing to participate in a whole event that's going to take place here. It's really nice. Normally we'll have an amazing audience with you. We will fly you in here, and the one that will win the competition at that point will get like a free trip to Europe. So that is a pretty nice little perk. And we had a lot of Science Slammers from China in the past that have used this trip to go to Europe, and sometimes they try to make it to connect with their science partners in Europe, or visit a laboratory, or just go to the beach in Greece or whatever, or all of the above. We've seen everything, and we'll be here to help you out with all of that and so on. So if you are already going for the Diamond certificate, this is also a little perk that is available for you to consider. So if you want to get the Diamond certificate, please record your video. We will give you guys a 3 weeks deadline to finalize the video, and then you can send it to us. And the best way probably is just to first scan the QR code, find us in the WeChat group, add us personally, and then send us the video through WeChat. This is probably going to be the best way for you to actually send the video, I mean, like without any hassle and whatever, and to share it with us. So I really encourage all of you to use some of the tips and tricks that we've been teaching you throughout this whole course. First of all, I hope that we helped you out with the script part of it by using the AI, the brainstormer. I hope that last week's presentation by Sam really helped you to think about a little bit about your presentation style. And then today, I hope that we managed to give you some of the tools and skills needed to create a very simple 2-minute video with only your phone. This is all you need to be able to kind of get over the finish line. So, all right. Anything
Hjalmar,
to add
I'm
to this?
sharing the new QR code because I think this one on your slide has expired. So I'm gonna
really?
share the new one in the chat. So
Sure.
anyone who is not in any group can scan it and join now. I should have it.
Or maybe you can share your screen.
Yeah, I could do that too. Let me see here. Yeah, there it is. Can you see it?
Yep, I can see it. Let me see here if this works for me. There we go. So that's it. And I hope to stay in touch with all of you, and we will let you know how the Science Slam is going to develop and like all the more details when that comes around. But in the meantime, we'll be sitting at the edge of our seats waiting for your videos. I'm looking really forward to seeing all of them. And I want to see many people get the diamond certificate this year.
Yeah, maybe we
So,
will share again the instructions. What do you think, Halder, by WeChat and maybe my mail to those who participate. We'll share again the instructions, and we will make available both the recording and the slides of today's webinar in case you want to go through them again.
Precisely. All right. So, okay. So I think we can finish on that note.
Thanks a lot, Halder. Thanks everybody for joining today.
Nice to see you guys. Bye-bye.
I'm going to end the meeting now.
Can we maybe
You want to break out?
do a quick call? We can do like, yeah, just end it and then maybe do like a new meeting call because I want to maybe catch up a little bit. Maybe
yeah, then let's start a new one.
Okay. All right.